Welcome to the JustFlight PA-38 Tomahawk for Microsoft Flight Simulator, a high-fidelity simulation of this popular general aviation trainer. The Tomahawk is the next aircraft to join our popular general aviation fleet in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and despite its small size, it's still packed full of features and in-depth simulation. No detail has been spared here, from the high quality modelling and texturing, to the depth of simulation in the aircraft systems, an accurate flight model featuring traits of the real aircraft, and a truly authentic sound set recorded from the real aircraft. The Tomahawk is not only raising the bar for our general aviation fleet, but it's also introducing a range of brand new features never seen before in a JustFlight product. Starting with the high quality modelling and texturing, the cockpit features 8K resolution textures for the highest possible levels of clarity and detail. A splattering of wear and tear is visible around the cockpit, replicating our reference aircraft. Materials can be seen to be distinctly different to each other, from the plastic to the leather of the seats, and the fabric of the baggage in the baggage compartment. The large cockpit windows that curve around the entirety of the fuselage allow for great views outside of the aircraft, making the Tomahawk a great sightseeing aircraft. The exterior follows suit, with highly accurate modelling right down to the individual rivets, fuel caps, fuel drains, and even engine covers that don't perfectly close, a trait of the real aircraft too. 8K resolution textures help to show the intricate level of wear and tear that has been applied to the exterior. You'll find watermarks stemming from panel gaps and rivets, dirt on the aircraft's belly from soft field landings, and even dirt on the underside of the wing from rubber and other debris that has been kicked up by the tyres. 15 liveries are included with the product. These liveries are accurate right down to the aircraft specific labelling, and even custom registration placards in the cockpit. The liveries cover aircraft from a variety of countries with plenty of colourful schemes, and there is also a custom livery that supports the Microsoft Flight Simulator tail number option, so there is something there for everyone. A paint kit will also be available for users who wish to create their own liveries and to share them with the community. Moving on to the systems, with the Tomahawk predominantly being a training aircraft, it's fair to say it's not as complex as a classic airliner. However, we have spent a large amount of time ensuring that everything in the cockpit is fully functional and operates just as it does in the real aircraft. Above the standard panel layout, some real-world owners use their aircraft as a cross-country tourer, and therefore many different avionics fits could be fitted. We have modelled some of these different cockpit configurations in our Tomahawk, so you can fly the aircraft as a basic trainer, or you can go all out and fit your Tomahawk with multiple GPS units, an ADF system and a second OBS. The choice is yours. The centrepiece of the cockpit is the custom coded SL30 and SL40 radios. These little radios may look fairly simple, but they're far from it. Menus that have submenus that in turn have further submenus are all simulated and functional. The SL30 will be the unit you use most in this configuration, and beyond the simple tuning of the nav and com radios, there is also submenus for changing the display into an OBS to show you the deviation from a tuned nav aid, a submenu that allows you to display additional DME information for the tuned nav aid, submenus for changing the display brightness and radio volumes, and even submenus that show you when the last VOR test was completed on the unit. The location and person who completed this test can also be customised as seen here. Like our other general aviation aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator, the Tomahawk not only supports the simulator's core failure system, but there is also a raft of custom failures modelled specific to the aircraft. These failures include spark plug fouling, vapour lock, and electrical battery drain. These failures can be enabled or disabled via the EFB tablet. On the subject of the tablet, The JustFlight EFB is provided and includes all of the features you may be familiar with from our other products, including Navigraph charts and SimProof support, a mover map, a notes app and a top descent calculator. The aircraft app has also been customised specifically for the Tomahawk. On the main page we have options to customise the aircraft with a variety of avionic fits, as well as some quality of life features such as the auto fuel selector that automatically switches the fuel tank that is being used to supply the engine to prevent an imbalance of fuel. Other options also include the ability to enable or disable the co-pilot, enable or disable the ground equipment like chocks and tie downs, and there is even an option to enable and disable the interactive paper charts. The paper charts can also be pulled out by clicking the charts holder here, and they rest neatly on top of the pilot's lap, allowing you to view items such as checklists and performance charts. These paper charts are fully customizable and custom documents can be imported and displayed on them. A pseudo autopilot is also included on the EFB with basic autopilot modes. This quality of life addition makes up for the real Tomahawk's lack of an autopilot and may be useful to use on longer flights or in high workload situations. As in all of our aircraft, if you prefer not to see the EFB, it can be hidden from view by the click of a switch. One final feature of the EFB that we haven't talked about yet is the fully interactable walkaround mode. Yes, you can now complete a full pre-flight walkaround of the aircraft and interact with the aircraft's exterior. Using controls in the EFB, move to the exterior of the aircraft and perform checks at several locations. Depending on the condition of the components at each location, you may need to perform maintenance before you can safely get airborne. Various components such as tyres, brakes, flying controls and engine will wear over time, and the wear rate will be determined based on how you fly the aircraft. Do you often fly on perfectly smooth tarmac runways and grease every landing? Then your aircraft will wear slower than someone who mainly flies off soft fields and makes firm landings every flight. This wear is persistent between flights and allows you to feel like you actually own the aircraft, and allows you to grow a connection with it as you start to use it more and more. As we complete the walk around and close the doors, it sounds like we've climbed right into a real Tomahawk. That's because the entire sound set has been recorded from the real aircraft. We were fortunate enough to be given access to Oscar Oscar India Whiskey Alpha in a recording session organised by the Brussels Aviation School. Not only was the engine recorded through its entire RPM range, but every switch, lever and effectively everything that moves on the aircraft has been recorded and is included in the simulation. This extends not only to switches, but you can also hear control cables moving under the aircraft's floor and the thump of the flight controls as they reach their bump stops. All of this, combined with the high fidelity systems, leads to a highly immersive experience, second only to flying the real aircraft. With regards to flying the aircraft, our flight model developer has done an exceptional job here. The Tomahawk flies very closely to figures stated in the manufacturer's documentation, with regards to such areas as speed and power, time and distance to climb to altitude, and glide ratios. Make sure you put aside the best part of an hour if you want to climb the aircraft to its service ceiling of 13,000 feet. We've also been able to include some of the Tomahawk's real life quirks, including the tendency for the aircraft to enter a spin when stalled, a trait that would earn the real aircraft the nickname Tomahawk. Comprehensive PDF manuals are included with the product, including an operations manual featuring almost 100 pages of system descriptions, panel guides, checklists and a tutorial flight. An EFB manual extensively covers all of the EFB's features, and an ODM manual includes various aircraft performance charts. The Microsoft Flight Simulator checklist system is also supported, and the aircraft is VR compatible. The JustFlight PA-38 Tomahawk for Microsoft Flight Simulator will be available from justflight.com for PC, as well as the in-game marketplace for both PC and Xbox. Stay tuned to the JustFlight social media channels for further videos on the Tomahawk, including a full video tutorial series walking you through a complete flight in the aircraft. You can also visit our in development page on justflight.com to keep fully up to date on all of our in development products. There you can also sign up for email alerts so that you can be the first to know whenever a product is released.